Before we begin, I just want to take a time out to give a shout out to everybody who has subscribed to my channel over the last couple of months. The channel has been growing immensely, uh, and this is something I don't take for granted. I thank you from the bottom of my heart for your love, for your support, and without you, there is no me. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. So, once again, I thank you, each and every last one of you. Everybody has donated, everybody who has left a comment, everyone who has liked and shared and subscribed to the channel. Um, really trying to put things together to make this work, given recent events that took place in my own personal life. And it means a whole lot. So, with that being said, let's get into this. Now, I want you to hear some comments that was recently made by this far right wing nut by the name of Laura Loomer. Without further ado, let's get into it. DJ, spin that
Like
shit.
the way they talk and their little DEI Shaniqua voices, and it's just very piercing, very irritating sound. They all have the same voice. I'm talking about Kamala Harris, Letitia James, and Fannie Willis. Like all of the like meritless DEI Shaniquas talk the same way. It's very obnoxious the way that they talk.
Now, see, this is the thing, right? While we might have issues with Kamala Harris and Letitia James and Fonnie Willis, that's not a position that you should be taking. You should not be speaking on Fonnie Willis, Kamala Harris, and Letitia James, right? Because unlike you, while we might have issues with uh Letitia James and Kamala Harris and Fonnie Willis, they are successful in their careers. You're not. You're on the outside looking in. You're sitting up there calling them a DEI high. All the meanwhile, you are a far right wing conspiracy theorist who just spews out bullshit just to spew out bullshit. You're a funky ass white supremacist. And look, Trump is going to use you for one of two things. Trump is going to use you to carry out his ideology and his attempt to become president, or maybe just and he might use you as his sex vessel, right? Whenever he wants to get stimulated in the mind on his mushroom, he'll use you for that. Whenever he needs his ego stroke or his mushroom stroke, he'll use you for that too. But you're no good, you have no value, and the clock is going to run out on you, just like how it ran out on Valentina Gomez. Because, see, these grifters never learn. You don't align yourself with a con man. Have you not learned from Nick Fuentes? Nick Fuentes aligning himself with Trump, and what did that get him? Did that get him a spot in Trump's cabinet? That does that get him a spot in Trump's good graces? Trump don't even mention Nick Fuentes. Trump don't even mention this woman. And you grifters just doesn't seem to learn. Now, Nick Fuentes, all it got him, yeah, it got him a dinner date with Trump and Kanye West, but past that, he gets nothing. But he did get his passport taken. He did get his bank accounts and his assets frozen, and he did get put on the no-fly list for aligning himself with a con man. Now, this woman wants to call herself calling up black people for being DEI hires. Meanwhile, she can't get hired nowhere. She can't get hired nowhere. She tried on two different occasions to become a congresswoman, and she failed at both times. but she running her mouth about somebody being a DEI high bitch. If you don't get your ass out of here. But I could go on and on and on about this funky ass white supremacist. But the premise of this video is to point out the infighting that's going on between her and none other than Marjorie Taylor Greene. Now, recently, the dingbat on the right made some comments, and I'm going to read those comments out, that drew the ire of the dingbat on the left of the thumbnail. And I couldn't believe this came out my ears, but it came out the mouth of Senator Lindsey Graham also denouncing this dingbat. So, coming from the Wall Street Journal, Senator Lindsey Graham urged Donald Trump to distance himself from Laura Loomer, a right-wing conspiracy theorist and a Looney Tune who traveled with the presidential candidate this week and posted racist comments about Vice President Kamala Harris. Loomer, who was with Trump at the presidential debate and at 9/11 ceremonies, posted this weekend that the White House would smell like curry if Kamala Harris, the Democratic presidential nominee, wins the election. Loomer made the comment in response to a photo posted on X by the vice president showing her as a child visiting her grandparents in India. The 31-year-old's presence alongside Trump sparked mudslinging. Well, I like to say this, right? You got two red ass baboons slinging mud butt at each other. And this ain't the first time that these two baboons were slinging mud butt at each other, but I'll get to that in a minute. So it sparked this outrage within the Republican Party as Lindsey Graham and Marjorie Taylor Greene expressed sharp disapproval of Loomer's remarks and her potential influence on the presidential candidate. Now, Lindsey Graham called her toxic in the interview he did with the Huffington Post. He said that Trump would serve himself well to make sure that this doesn't become a bigger story. Loomer responded on X by saying that Graham has never been loyal to President Trump and that she made a speculative crack about his bussyism. Yeah, because if you heard my channel for any length of time or follow me for any length of time, I always talked about how Lindsey Graham is out here being Lady G allegedly and how he likes having an apple in his mouth while being hogtied and whipped like a mule at the presidential suite at the Hyatt on Saturday night, allegedly. Then, in a statement, a representative for Lindsey Graham came out and said that Loomer is a stain on society. Wow, that's a lot right there to call somebody a stain in society. I think she's nothing more than the streaks of two weeks that's gonna get washed off with time when Trump's get done with her. But anyway, there should be no place of prominence in this country for her vile, mean-spirited, destructive, racist rhetoric and views. The spokesman said Graham shares Greene's concern about how Loomer's presence could impact the campaign and the country. Greene, a Republican from Georgia, who has also embraced wild conspiracy theory, yeah, because in Jewish space, lasers is a thing, Marjorie Taylor Greene. But anyway, she chided Loomer, saying that this could be a distraction from the campaign during the critical time of the election, a concern that Republicans close to Trump had privately echoed. She goes on Twitter and responds to Loomer's racist rantings and said that what she said was racist. Well, it takes a racist to know a racist, right, Marjorie Taylor Greene? But anyway, it doesn't represent who they are as Republicans or MAGA. This does not represent President Trump. This type of behavior should not be tolerated ever. Laura Loomer should take this down. On Thursday, Greene added that she didn't think Loomer had the experience or the mentality to advise. Loomer said on X that her comment about Harris was a joke. Yeah, there's nothing funny about that, you funky ass white supremacist. She said she stands by everything she said and wouldn't take anything down. She also called Greene anti-Semitic for posting conspiracy theories years ago that space lasers were founded by a Jewish family that were the cause of wildfires in California. Loomer joined Trump on Wednesday at the 9/11 anniversary ceremony in New York and then traveled with him to Shanksville, Pennsylvania, but one of the hijacked planes crashed. Yeah, everybody died on that particular day, September 11, 2001. Last year, Loomer shared on social media a video claiming that 9/11 was an inside job, referring to a long-running conspiracy theory. She told CNN that she didn't understand the issue with her attending the memorial. When asked for comment, a spokesman for Greene pointed to another X post Greene made Thursday that the Make America Great Again movement should focus on inflation, the economy, and illegal immigration at the border. Laura Loomer's outright lies, instability, and maniac toxicity has no place in MAGA. Look, these two have been going at it for the better part of a year now, right? And look, this is the infighting within the Republican Party I'm talking about. You got porn star rejects, failed congresswomen, right-wing conspiracy trying, and then to curry good graces with this con man criminal known as Donald Trump. Okay, Laura Loomer is a stain on society, a streaky brown stain on society at that. But Marjorie Taylor Greene ain't no better. She's just as much of a funky white supremacist as Laura Loomer. Who can ever forget Marjorie Taylor Greene just a couple months ago talking trash about Jasmine Crockett, her Democratic colleague in the House? Talk about the woman's hair, talk about the woman's eyelashes or whatever like that. Talk about it's gonna fly away. Who is she to call somebody a racist, right? This is a cast. This is the classic Spider-Man meme right here. If you ask me anything else, this is the classic Spider-Man meme. Hey, you're a racist. No, you're a racist. How about both of y'all are racist? And you're only doing this because you're only trying to curry favor with Trump. Now, I talked about how these two got into a spat last year, right? And the whole thing kicked off when Trump was considering putting her in his inner circle to be an advisor, and Marjorie Taylor Greene took exception to that because Marjorie Taylor Greene was on the outside looking in. And she didn't like that. All because she supported Kevin McCarthy in his bid to become speaker. And a lot of Republicans didn't like that. So, yeah, there's this infighting that's going on within the Republican Party, right? These two, like, there are no winners in this scenario. They're both funky ass white supremacists, right? They're both trying to curry favor with Trump. They're trying to get their grift on, right? They're trying to grift from the grifter. And for some reason, they think that they could just kiss this man's pinky ring, lick this man's shoes and his dingy diaper, that he is going to look out for them, that he is going to take care of them. This man doesn't even pay his own lawyers. What makes them think that he's going to take care of them? What makes them think that? It makes no sense to me that these grifters will go out of their way to lie, not only to the people that they throwing the slop at and hope that they slurp it up, but they're lying to themselves. It's comical. No, you're a racist. No, you're a racist. I took President Trump out to Oak Steakhouse. Well, you know, President Trump doesn't like Oak Steakhouse. President Trump likes burgers. Oh yeah. Well, you know, me and President Trump went out on one of his golf courses, and I gave him a 9 iron when he was at the fifth hole. Oh yeah. Well, me and President Trump went to an art gallery, and he showed me one of his favorite paintings. I mean, it's just disgusting. It's stupid. You're both funky ass white supremacists. I don't like neither one of you. So, if you want to have an idea of why this movement is going to die, because, like with anything in life, once it starts to deteriorate, it starts from within. All the infighting, all the jealousy, all the private room cat fights, all that shit that's going on. That's how movements die. It starts from within. Jealousy, envy, hatred. What the she got that I ain't got. All to be in close proximity to power. And then what? Because eventually Donald Trump is going to be outside of the uh, political sphere, whether it be through retirement or death. But either way, Donald Trump is not going to be in this political atmosphere anymore. And then what? Then what? And again, for Laura Loomer, who is a multiple time failed congressional candidate, she's sitting up here calling people DEI hires in the black community. Well, they must be doing a better job at their job than you're doing at yours, because nobody wants to hire you. So this DEI hire nonsense, which started by Christopher Rufo, right? Christopher Rufo was pushing this DEI hire nonsense, and he was also pushing this conspiracy theory about critical race theory, right? So you got people out here pushing this bullshit. These individuals are getting pissed off over the bullshit they're cooking up, and they want to project that out to the masses, especially within the black community. So let me get this straight. Again, we in the black streets have our issues with Fonnie Willis and Letitia James and Kamala Harris. But make no mistake, however we feel about them, that don't give you the right to speak on them. Who the fuck is you? If you ask me, both of you hoes ain't nothing but leeches. Both of you. You're fucking leeches. So understand, there are no winners in this. Okay? They're only rats who's chewing each other up to try to get in close proximity to power. We've seen this on the male side with all these people who were trying to be the presidential candidate or the vice presidential candidate under Trump, because it was clear as day that as soon as he threw his hat in the ring, he was going to become the nominee. So we got mudslinging amongst the men in the Republican Party, and then we got mudslinging amongst the women within the Democratic Party. Another person who I'd be remiss that I left out, right? And it's had nothing, but Carrie Lake. You know, Carrie Lake been doing a whole bunch of mudslinging in her attempt to get in close proximity to power with all her unlimited trips to Mar-a-Lago. to the point Trump had to kick her out of Mar-a-Lago. So it makes no sense. It makes no sense. These two clowns that's on the thumbnail fighting because one don't want Trump and MAGA, and while the other is only doing it for her own self-serving interests. Because at the end of the day, that's what it comes down to. People are literally fighting and desecrating each other's name to get in close proximity to power to Donald Trump. And this fighting between them has been going on for the better part of a year. Them calling each other racist and all that. So this is comical to me. Sitting back, watching this nonsense going on is comical. It is. Now, Trump himself has admitted that he lost the election. It took him like 3.5 years to finally admit that he lost, but he came out and finally admitted it, right? So why we got people within his MAGA circle still pushing that bullshit about the election results? Why we still got people still pushing that bullshit, considering that you had a whole bunch of people go to jail, you had a whole bunch of people lose their law license, had a whole bunch of people had their lives altered because of that bullshit they was pushing. Only for Trump to walk it back and say, "Yeah, I lost by a whisker." And then he's out here pushing this bullshit about the damn migrants killing cats and all that and eating them. Because you don't think Laura Loomer was out there pushing that bullshit about, people eating cats and shit? Yeah, she was out there pushing that bullshit. Why? Because she is trying to get in close proximity to power to Trump, because it's never been about Donald Trump. It's always been about her self-serving agenda. That's all it's about. If you take nothing else from this video, she aligning herself with Trump because it is about her self-serving agenda. Period. So you guys let me know what y'all think about this. Because this is crazy. This infighting that's going on in the Republican Party, and this is just one. This ain't even scratching the surface about the infighting that's going on within the Republican Party. This is one of many instances that's going on within the Republican Party of infighting. Now, if you want to donate to this channel, there's the Cash App, there's the PayPal. Any and all donations are accepted and appreciated. Right? Man, that's just crazy. They said last year, and I talked about this, right? Last year, Trump talked about bringing her onto the campaign around the time Loomer was attacking Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, a Republican who was eyeing a run for president against Trump and his wife, Casey. One attack accused Casey DeSantis of playing up her breast cancer diagnosis for sympathy. The idea of hiring Loomer was put off following a report in the New York Times, which triggered backlash amongst Trump supporters. But Trump continued to pay attention to Loomer and appreciate her support, according to several people close to him. In January, she traveled with Trump to campaign in Iowa, the first GOP nominating state. Days later, Trump praised Loomer during an event, calling her really talented and amazing, and asking her to stand for applause. You want to try to have her on your side, Trump said as Loomer laughed. Later that day, Loomer responded to criticism, posting on X, the only people who are worried about President Trump embracing her are people who are disloyal to him and have something to hide. She has nothing but a net positive for President Trump. Yeah, get the fuck out of here. You're a liar, you're a grifter, and your time is coming soon, bitch. That's right. Your time is coming soon. Did you not learn from Valentina Gomez? She tried to do that same thing too. You ain't learned from Valentina Gomez, huh? But you out here pushing that bullshit, huh? And look, for the moral crowd, right? For people who have morals, honor, ethics, respect about you, right? Just know that these funky ass white supremacists don't care about none of that. They don't care about truth. They don't care about decency. They don't care about honor. They don't care about respect. They don't care about none of that shit. Because if they did care about that, then they would apply a lot of that, morals across the board. But it's only situational and scenario based where the ethics and respect and other factors that we hold true close to our heart, right? That's the only time where morals, ethics, honor, and respect come in. It's scenario based and it's situational based. Because if it was about that, they would apply that across the board. But they don't. They only do it when they get a hair up their ass or when it's something in it for them. So she's nobody new. She's no different than these other people that came before her, and she's gonna be no different than the people that come after her. And that's the bottom line. But yeah, man, you guys let me know what y'all think, man. You know I subscribe to this channel. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit that like button, and share these videos on your social media platforms. Shouts out to the LDBC. This your man. Scream at me. Ho!